Hello, Sarah Michelle here. How are you all today? I'm going to take just a second and let people have a chance to hop on. Today, I am streaming live to my Facebook group, The Peachy Pussy. So if you're interested in joining that, it's free for women. You can hop on over there. Sometimes our conversations get a little deeper in there, more sex and intimacy than I put on the public platforms. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, hop on in there. And then we're also live on my business page for Happiness and Heels. If you haven't liked it, you can head on over there and like Happiness and Heels. And the last place that we're live today is on YouTube. I upload some stuff on YouTube from time to time. So if you are a YouTube fan, you can subscribe to the channel over there. And that should be under Happiness and Heels with Sarah Michelle as well. Okay, so hello. And today I wanted to talk about basically rebuilding your trust in the dating scene. Some of us have come out of long-term relationships or marriages, or even just shorter term things that were maybe deeper for us. You know, the amount of love we share with someone is not dependent on the amount of time we have with them. It's dependent on the amount, the communication, the connection, the intimacy that we have with that individual. So we can have relationships that are 2 weeks long, and it can be much deeper than something we experienced with someone we stayed with for a year. So when I'm talking about this today, don't get hung up on who you're thinking of and how long you were with that person, because time is irrelevant here in what we're talking about. What happens is how you've connected to them, and we've connected to them in different ways for different reasons, right? Sometimes we're literally projecting our stuff onto them and we're receiving, it's just all about receiving a lesson. Maybe in setting better boundaries or things like that. But what happens as we get out there and we start dating is we do experience things like ghosting. And for those of you who aren't familiar with ghosting and don't know what it is, it's basically just when you've been connected with someone and then they stop all communication without letting you know why. And a lot of times this happens early on and it's not such a big deal. So for example, I ghost, which might piss some of you off, but here, I'll tell you how I ghost and why. If I'm on a dating site and you and I have been interacting for a week on the dating site and you have not progressed at all beyond just simple like, hello, how are you doing? How was your day? That sort of stuff. And the conversations aren't getting deeper. You have not asked me on a date or anything. The way I ghost is I just disconnect from the conversation and I move on. Right? Now, if I have actually met someone, or if we've exchanged phone numbers and we've talked on the phone, something like that, if we've actually created a connection beyond the dating website, then I will tell the person that I'm not interested in seeing them anymore, or taking this any further, something like that. So I haven't done it any further in, but some of you I know have experienced ghosting where you've been maybe even months into the relationship. Maybe you've had sex with the person, right? Like you've really connected and then this person is just one day gone, right? And it's very easy to spin out into that. What did I do wrong? What happened? Was he cheating on someone else with me? And that's why he stopped communicating because he got caught. Like, your mind can spin into anything, right, at this point. And what we want to do in this situation is pull the power back to you. In fact, in all of these situations that I listed, so I listed ghosting, lying, and cheating. In all of these things, if you get stuck in the victim pattern, which it's okay to be there for a little while. Like we all feel like the victim from time to time, and we all have emotions and things to feel and process. I'm not telling you don't feel what you feel. What I'm saying is, let's not get stuck in anything, okay? Your emotions are energy in motion. They're meant to keep moving and progressing or evolving. What's the word I'm looking for here? Mutating. I think my words are getting worse as we go. But they're meant to keep moving, okay? So the only time we really want to start, the times we really want to start looking at it is when you get stuck. When you're getting stuck in a mode of like you can't move on because this person has ghosted you, or you can't trust anyone else because you had an ex who cheated and now you're convinced that someone else could cheat on you, and so you're hyper vigilant around that. And what happens when you become hyper vigilant around these things is you're constantly thinking about it. That's your energy level. You're calling it in. You're actually calling in more and more of those experiences. So how do we stop this cycle? Because as long as you feel like you're the victim, you don't have the power to change anything. When we're in victim mode, what we've done is we've given our power away to someone else. So for example, if someone has lied to you and you're feeling the victim of it, you've given your power to that person who has lied to you. They're the one who needs to fix the problem. They're the one who needs to stop lying. They're the one who needs to apologize to you, right? All of that is you asking them to change and be something different, which is just going to leave you feeling the victim and powerless because you can't force anyone else to do this. And I know as you're listening to me, you're hearing this and you're like, I get it, right? Because you are getting it on a head level. Like everybody gets this on a head level. What we need to do is get you to feel this in your body, integrate it, and really freaking understand it so that it's not a matter of cognitively getting it, but integrating it, actually understanding it and doing it. So how we pull that power back to us is we start looking at it and we say, okay, how do I feel about this? How do I want to feel moving forward, right? What lessons can I learn from this? Where else is this pattern showing up in my life? Sometimes it's not, first of all, patterns that show up in one place are everywhere else in our life, so we can find them in other ways. If it's too hard for you right now, let's say that you were married, okay, and your spouse cheated on you, okay? It might be so painful for you right now to look at that specific situation and try to fix it, which would be like attacking it head on, right? And sometimes that's too hard, and that's okay for it to be too hard. That's when you can turn around and you can ask, okay, where else is this same pattern showing up in my life? And then if it's, say, showing up in your diet and exercise, if it's showing up in a friendship or a relationship to a parent or something like that, if it's showing up somewhere else, then what you can do is you can work on it from that angle, because when you work on it there, it will dissipate the energy over here, because it doesn't matter what angle you work on the issue from. If you resolve the issue, it helps everywhere, okay? So don't ever feel like, if something feels like a wall and it just feels like way too hard to go there, start asking yourself questions and saying, okay, how else can I look at this? Who else can help me? What support do I have around this? Start to figure it out, because even if all you get is a baby step from there, that baby step will lead to another baby step, will lead to another baby step. And before you know it, you'll build that momentum and you'll get the healing you're requesting. Okay, so we need to, in these situations of ghosting, lying, cheating, and whatever else has destroyed you in the dating scene, pull that power back into you by asking these questions and figuring out where you can work on this stuff. And ultimately, what you're trying to do is rebuild your trust in yourself. You're never going to get to a point where you can 100% for sure make sure that no one's ever going to cheat on you again. Or you can 100% make sure you'll never be ghosted again. But what you can do is learn to trust yourself and your own intuition, so that you say, okay, well, the next time that something comes up like ghosting, I'm going to recognize the patterns. So I'll be able to see it sooner. Or I'll recognize it for what it is, which is a reflection of something going on with them and not me. And so I'm not going to take it personally. I'm going to go, okay, well, they ghosted me. Damn, that hurt. I thought we had something going there. But you know what? If they're going to ghost me, they're obviously not the right person for me. So I guess it's time to move on, right? And you can take a deep breath and move on. These are the types of things you're going to be wanting to pay attention for and working through, because you want to pull that trust back into yourself, because the only person you're ever going to be able to trust. In fact, I believe in David Data's book, Dear Lover, he talks about how he talks about this directly, about how women need to learn to trust themselves, because there's no man ever that isn't going to let them down. And the example he gives is, he says, even if you're with a man of high integrity who loves you and doesn't cheat on you and doesn't do any of these things that you don't want, at some point he might die before you. And he's going to leave you, and it's going to feel like a letdown. Like, he's not dying on purpose, right? He's not like, God, I can't stand you anymore. I'm 88 years old and it's time for me to die. But you're going to feel that sense of being let down because he's left. He's been your partner for so long and he's a part of your life, right? And now he's gone. And so that's why he's talking about trust in that book, and why I'm talking to you about it now is it all has to circle around you. You have to bring the power back into you and learn to love and trust and accept yourself, which is the hardest fucking work you can do. I guarantee you it's the hardest fucking work you can do. And it's why a lot of people don't do the work necessary to have healthy relationships. Because it's way easier to point your finger outwards and say, he was a liar. He cheated on me. He was a terrible person and he owes me an apology and he needs to fix this, than it is to look at yourself and say, okay, how did I contribute to this situation? What do I need to do in order to make sure it doesn't happen again, right? That's not to blame yourself. It's just to take your power back. It's to say, okay, I am a conscious creator of my reality. And in doing so, I know that I need to look at how I created my past so that I don't create it again in the future. All right, I hope you loved this. If you did, please share it. Leave a comment, say hello, any of it. I love to interact with y'all. And I did leave a link in the comments to members.happinessandheals.com. That's a new space that me and Maddie are setting up to house everything you guys will need if you want to work with us further. So we have a freebie on there already if you're interested in 10 ways to step into your feminine energy. There is a freebie on there for that. We will be adding the Dear Lover Challenge here soon. It starts on April 5th. If you want information on the Dear Lover Challenge, which is for women who are calling in a relationship, we're going to take 5 days and show you how to call in a new relationship. Just leave a comment here and I'll make sure that you get on our list so that as soon as it's ready to register for, I can reach out to you, send you a link, and you can register for it. It's free. And then we also have Fabulously Feminine on there right now, which is a monthly membership. It's $79 a month. It is for women. And we share all this stuff around dating, sex, intimacy, personal development, finding your purpose. It's just anything for women to feel confident, lovable, happy in themselves, their lives, their relationships. All of that's in there. And each month we do live coaching calls, live Q&As. I do trainings in there each month. Everything's housed on a membership site. So when you get in, you have instant access to all the previous months. So there's plenty of stuff to get in there and get started. And you can register for that at that members.happinessandheals.com. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me.